Well, we've just heard from the family of Dawn Sturgess, the woman murdered by Vladimir Putin in this country. Let's get the very latest.
Statement is provided on behalf of Dawn's family. Our heartfelt aim throughout the long process has been to do right by our daughter, mother and sister Dawn. In the immediate aftermath of her death, Wiltshire police wrongly characterised Dawn as a drug user, and the public were wrongly led to believe that she had somehow contributed to her death. As the evidence at the inquiry recognised, that was a grave mistake by Wiltshire police that should never have happened. The police's incorrect assessment trumped that of the paramedics that there was a real possibility that Dawn had suffered from a nerve agent poisoning. The Chair has concluded that this error had the potential to put at risk other members of the public and emergency responders. We, and most importantly Dawn, have been vindicated today. The inquiry has concluded that Dawn was a wholly innocent victim, killed by Novichok as a direct result of Russia's cruel and cynical attempt to assassinate Sergei Skripal. The inquiry's report concludes that there were failures by the UK government in the management and assessment of the risk that Russia posed.
There's nothing more important than keeping your money and your identity safe online. And with so many VPN options available, choosing the right one can be pretty daunting. But this video's sponsor, ExpressVPN, is making the choice easier for GB News viewers. ExpressVPN is offering up to 73% off, plus 4 extra months free. That's top-level security from just £2.49 a month, and you're covered by their 30-day money-back guarantee. So just click the link in this video's description or scan the QR code now. Remember, when you're online, you are often sharing personal data, so hackers can steal your information, your passwords, your photos, and your bank details in just seconds. But ExpressVPN encrypts your connection, making it virtually impossible for hackers to access your personal information. So why choose ExpressVPN? Well, it couldn't be easier to use. With just one click, you are protected. And ExpressVPN uses military-grade AES 256 encryption, which is the same standard trusted by the US government to guard their classified information. With their new tiered plans, you can protect up to 14 devices at once and manage passwords securely. Live chat support is available 24/7, and it typically connects you in under a minute with a real person. Click the link in this video's description or scan the QR code to get up to 73% off ExpressVPN, plus 4 extra months free. Start protecting yourself today with ExpressVPN.
Well, that was a statement on behalf of the family of Dawn Sturgess. Let's get the latest analysis now with our Home and Security Editor, Mark Wise.
Well, you heard the family. They are very unhappy about the way in which they were treated by Wiltshire police, because they believe that the police had formed this conclusion about Dawn Sturgess, that she was a drug user, that actually what she may have been suffering from when police were called to assist her and also her boyfriend Charlie Rowley was opiate overdose. So the paramedics actually at the time had said they believed that the symptoms were consistent with some kind of nerve agent poisoning, and obviously were more than aware of what had happened to Sergei Skripal just a few months earlier in nearby Salisbury. And it is the belief of the family, and they believe that's been vindicated now by Lord Hughes in his remark, that the paramedics and wider members of the public were put at risk by the slow response of the police to acknowledge that this may well have been a nerve agent attack that Dawn had been suffering from. I should say, though, Lord Hughes does say in his evidence that in terms of the care she received by the medical services, that that was appropriate. They did all that they could for her, and that because she had received such a large dose of this novichok nerve agent, there's nothing that could have been done medically to save her. And we were just hearing before the end of that short clip of the news statement there from the front.
Mark, I'm just going to interrupt you. Vladimir Putin has been arriving at a summit. Let's have a look. Live pictures here. Vladimir Putin meeting Narendra Modi in India. Enormous goings on here. Of course, India buys an enormous quantity of petroleum from Russia, and this has been quite the concern of particularly Donald Trump in recent years, where he hasn't quite liked this relationship.
It is the big thing, isn't it? I mean, what is curious now, obviously, is India is a long way away from us, but what would his reaction be to the findings we've been hearing about today, where he has been said that he's morally responsible for the death of Dawn Sturgess? It'd be very interesting to get his reaction, but we know so far Russia have denied anything to do with this whatsoever from day one. For 7 years have said absolutely nothing to do with us.
Now, for a long time in international relations, Britain has been trying to bring India in to what's known as the D10. We've got the G7. Well, they add on 3 more countries, democracies, trying to bring the democracies of the world together. Well, it's moments like this that make the sort of initiative of the D10 look rather futile, quite frankly, because this is a red carpet moment being rolled out for Vladimir Putin in India.
Well, this is the thing, isn't it? I mean, it is still, it's morally responsible for what happened to Dawn Sturgess, and potentially that could have killed thousands of people if it had been handled any worse than it was. And we know that the ambulance crews and the people that went there as well are still affected by what they had to deal with then. And it is actually the fact that he has... Well, this is not the first time, Mark White, this is not the first time that Russia have been involved in murdering people on British soil.
Well, not the first time on British soil, and not the first time in countries all around the world. It is something that Russia does proactively because it sees it as hugely important to send out a message very publicly to anyone that would, as they see it, betray Mother Russia, that they will never get away with that the Russian state has a long memory, it is very patient, and is willing to wait often many years, but will strike when people least expect it. I mean, we're seeing, obviously, Vladimir Putin there with Narendra Modi. That is obviously a key alliance as far as India is concerned, much to the sort of annoyance, displeasure, if you like, of Western countries. But the fact is, it's not just India. There are many countries around the world that, whatever the West might say about the invasion of Ukraine and just how unworthy Vladimir Putin is as a political leader to be respected around the world, they, for their own understandable self-interest, perhaps do want to further positive relations with Russia. The BRIC countries, I should say, the likes of Brazil, for instance, are a perfect example of that. They see whatever is being said by those key Western countries, such as the US, the UK, France and Germany. They see a more sort of positive approach to Russia as being advantageous to them, and that's why we're seeing what we're seeing unfold with Narendra Modi there.
Yeah. Well,
I have to say, it does stick in the neck a bit. I mean, we've literally just heard from the family of a woman this man killed. And now we can say that, because before we had to couch it in all sorts of terms, but the inquiry is done now, they've published the report, we can say...
Morally responsible.
Absolutely morally responsible for the killing of a British woman in Britain. And there he is, welcomed by one of our allies on the red carpet. It does stick in the net.
It does stick in the net, and it does wonder where we go from here with our relationship with Russia. What do we do next? We just learned the Russian ambassador is being summoned to the Foreign Office to answer for Russia's ongoing campaign of hostile activity against the UK. We will not tolerate this brazen and despicable aggression on British soil, says Foreign Secretary Yvette Cooper. That is why we are exposing and sanctioning those carrying out malign acts for Moscow and ramping up our efforts to crush hostile Russian hybrid activity. But the question is, Mark, is like, will it make any difference?
I'm not sure it will. I mean, to be honest, although you say we can say today what we want to say about Russia, we could have said that just in the weeks and months after the attack. This has been known about for years. For me, today was about actually trying to explore whether there was more that the British government could have done to safeguard the identity of Sergei Skripal, give him a new identity, try and ensure that it was harder for the Russian state to get to him. And then also in the wake of the attack, was there more that could have been done to prevent the people of Salisbury and, of course, people like Dawn Sturgess? That, for me, was what today was about. The rest of what we're seeing here is the political theatre around this.
Mark White, thank you very much.